Captain? Hadrian? It would appear that the cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today, as well as an apology.
Yep,
Your
get to it.
concerns about the terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Agreed. Thank you.
Of course. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But
Good.
to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major.
Oh, wow.
As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Am I going to become Admiral then?
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed, first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative.
Me? Why not send a diplomat? Someone trained for this sort of thing.
The cabinet wants progress, and wants it quickly. You're already far more familiar with the situation than any diplomat would be. There's also no diplomat alive that can claim they helped keep a cadre of terramorphs off the embassy doorsteps. The cabinet was unanimous. They want you.
If you're sure that's the wisest decision.
We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us?
I don't care about citizenship. I don't even know what I get for being a citizen.
It has its perks. Only citizens can purchase property in the city. We also pay reduced prices on most goods and services across the UC.
A discount,
There's
you
also
say?
a credit disbursement when you first join. Help get you on your feet. But above all, you'd become a dedicated part of the greatest faction in the galaxy. If you're willing to help us, we can open that door.
Yeah, why not?
I'm glad to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. We're dismissed.
Heroes full backing to prevent more attacks.
And that includes you.
The things we do here,
I'm gonna go check in with Chief Engineer
benefits all of humanity.
Start getting a plan together for that data.
Sure.
We're going to get to the bottom of what happened at the spaceport.
I guess I need to speak to McIntyre.
Yes, what?
These orders. A Vanguard captain. You... Yes, sir. I'll make sure they get what they require.
You can do it now.
That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second-in-command. I heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude. I was also informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet. Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office is fully committed to this endeavor, accessing the terramorph data and beyond.
That's great. Can we get to it?
Everything in our power to make sure you have the tools you need. And that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the archives are, correct?
I have an idea. They're the repositories of all the banned data from the colony wars.
Someone paid attention in current events. So, then you also know that it was originally managed by the 3 major galactic players. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each of the 3 armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun.
Freestar's
Now,
fine.
UC's already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassadors of the Freestar Collective and House
Should be easy.
Varun to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done.
Can we forge them? That's probably not the best thing to ask her. You think they'll be clamoring to help after the spaceport attack?
I couldn't agree more. However,
It's not in their
both
space.
ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't, work with us. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get them both to cooperate.
And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are off the table here. Though that
Damn.
doesn't mean we can't get creative.
But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar, or Ambassador Balmore of House Varun?
Tell me about Radcliffe.
The good Ambassador Radcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours miserable.
It sounds as though I will enjoy this.
Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her.
Of course.
Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support.
And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code.
I think you're underestimating how delightful I am.
Well, if that's the case, I'll wait to be pleasantly surprised. But we do have one item up our sleeve. UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters,
Oh.
which we suspect you can use to your advantage.
But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an embassy holding cell.
So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen.
Easy enough.
Now, we recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with that. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information. Maybe
really?
even convince to work with you.
Okay. Any other things I should avoid doing inside the embassy?
Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely do not harm anyone. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth things over, but I can't make any promises.
Okay, what can you tell me about this staff member?
Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Radcliffe, bears less of a grudge towards the UC. He works closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the ins and outs of embassy life, and someone who very likely hates her guts.
Okay. That's all I need on Radcliffe.
All right. Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up you're on your way. Not likely to let you through the door otherwise.
And take these. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some options on how to proceed in there.
Interesting. And what about Ambassador Balmore?
Ambassador Balmore's a challenge. When the rest of House Varun retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the armistice, Balmore stayed here. He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests, so there's real hope he might again. Though claiming to know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
Why? What's wrong with House Varun?
Well, these days, they're primarily considered a security threat. House Varun Zealots, a fundamentalist outshoot of the group that stayed behind when the rest retreated into seclusion, want nothing more than to send everyone not dedicated to their cause to the great serpent in the sky. But that hasn't always been the case. After they ended the Serpent's Crusade about 70 years back, House Varun did take a real run at trying to normalize relations with the rest of the galaxy.
Interesting.
It's why they have an embassy here in the first place, why they were included in the armistice negotiations. But then, without warning, they left, leaving behind, to our knowledge, just the ambassador and his duty under the armistice.
That actually sounds pretty promising.
It does, but there's a concern.
Go on.
We're not 100% sure Balmor is actually still alive.
Ugh.
His public appearances were always rare, but it's been several years now since he last poked his head out. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind we were expecting.
Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his duties under the armistice.
And this is why I have Andraja. What kind of life signs did you detect in the embassy?
The Varun delegation brought more than a few of their native flora with them when they set up in the embassy. It seems those plants have been allowed to flourish, making it hard for us to verify what's flora and what's ambassador.
Sounds like a smart play. I'll track him down.
I have no doubt. Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior.
Nobody
Once you're
trusts anyone, do
inside,
they?
though, finding the ambassador is going to be up to you. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks. Watch out for automated security in there.
Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already discussed, don't hesitate to ask. I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Approach her while the attack is still fresh in her and her staff's mind. Be smart out there, Captain.
Yes, ma'am. Nova Galactic 3, an additional 1% to jump range.
My day is suddenly much improved. How about that? I am so grateful for you.
Yeah, I might need to lean on you for some political shenanigans. I don't know why I didn't just take this to the mast station. I can fast travel when we're outside anyway, so...
By the way, Captain, Sergeant Yumi was looking for you. Sounds like he's got more work.
Great. Well, doesn't this look like life has just returned to normal? The door's not even closed. There's a problem with this train. There's a problem with this game. Okay, so people are returning to normal.
Seriously, I need to know her skincare routine.
No, game, no, 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 no. So the shutters just drop out of there, I get that, that's fine. They've cleaned it up so quickly. At least he's talking about alien attacks. I don't believe they would have cleaned it up that quickly. That's kind of annoying. In fact, it's more than kind of annoying. It's quite stupid. It should just be a separate instance for this mission where that's smoking. Yumi.
If it isn't my favorite part-time security. Crime has slowed down since you started helping out, which is good for morale.
Has there been any fallout from the Terramorph attack?
The whole department is in the process of recovering, myself included. If I'm being honest, I still have nightmares of my team turning on one another. Things can be replaced and wounds can be healed, but building back that trust in each other is going to take time. Luckily, we've built a good culture here, and we hired some new recruits who were inspired by what you did. I've got faith we'll survive this.
I see how they operate. They sow discourse and distrust in the enemy troops. Who made these Terramorphs? Do you have any work? Apparently I need some work from you.
I do. Thanks to you, the spaceport is up and running again, which is good for commerce, but also for smugglers. We've received a tip that someone has been bringing in contraband into New Atlantis through the spaceport, and we need to investigate.
Okay. I guess I can do that.
Great. First, speak to one of the technicians over by landing pad B. Ask them if they've noticed any suspicious activity.
I know how to
Once
run
you've
it.
gotten a lead, cross-reference their testimony with ship records over at Aegis. When you're done, report back to me with your findings.
That actually sounds like a lot of work.
See you later.
Why did it want me in here? Just to speak to Yumi? I mean, I'll do it, but I'm not doing it right now. We have to go to the Armistice library thing. So, where am I supposed to go? Which one's Kelton? Is Kelton the tree dude?
Yeah. Keep it moving.
Apparently the Armistice place is here. Apparently. It looks like they've just dragged the bits, so I guess I can let them off that.
My God, Captain, the attack, thank you, okay? Thank you. Damage to the spaceport is bad, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
It looks like it's fine.
The things people do to their poor, poor ships.
So which is pad... we're not even doing that. Let's go to SSN and tell them about Ron Hope. I assume we'd be flying off somewhere else. I don't know why you'd have the Armistice library on a planet controlled by one of the groups. I certainly wouldn't want that to happen.
You didn't hear this from me, but...
Apparently we have 3 things to talk to SSNN about as well.
You have another story for me?
I have the inside story on Ron Hub's death.
What a sordid mess. We've got some other sources we've been interviewing, but I'd love to get your take on the record. So there was a mercenary company, the First, and they were involved in taking farmlands from Freestar Collective families.
True.
Extortion, death threats, murder, all of it. Is that right?
Sounds like you don't need me.
You kidding? You're the star of this episode from what I heard. So all of that? Terrible. But Ron Hope, the Ron Hope, was involved with it at the highest level. All of that suffering was a plot to save Hope Tech from going under using the side effects of a fertilizer he developed. Let me be blunt. The other sources say you killed Ron Hope. Is that correct?
I'm a ranger. I was doing my job.
Most rangers don't take down one of the Council of Governors, though. After all of that, the future of Hope Tech is an open question. Their stock has already taken a beating. Not sure if it's going to go into freefall. Any comment?
Despite what Rob Hope? I thought it was Ron Hope. Did. It's Ron Hope. He is Ron Hope. Despite what Ron Hope did, Hope Tech is a great company. I know it'll weather the storm.
For what it's worth, I'm rooting for them too. Thanks. If you listen to the news, you'll definitely hear this. And, maybe try not to ice any more CEOs. Just a thought.
Hey, if they try and bribe me.
You talk and get paid, I spread the news. It's a classic win-win.
About the Termov attack.
Really? To say you have my undivided attention is an understatement. A lot of people were there. The accounts we've got were chaotic. What was your role in that?
Together with UC security, because we need to try and keep a lid on this. We managed to put those killing machines down.
Sounds like maybe you're being modest.
I am.
Security isn't exactly trained for that scenario. But alright. The whole city is still on edge over the attack. We were fortunate, damn fortunate, that casualties were so low. What was it like in the thick of things?
I was just focused on protecting the civilians and staying alive. I didn't have time to think.
Pure instinct, huh? It sounds like New Atlantis, heck, the whole UC, owes you a great debt.
It does.
Any closing comments? I already have a good story here.
I won't rest until the Terramoth threat is ended.
That makes me feel better. I feel like such a sap, but it does. Hey, Constellation? From all of us that live here, thanks. We use the word hero a lot in news, but you really are one.
I know. Thanks, Nadia. So where am I supposed to go now? I'm pretty sure it's not Whetstone. Does it tell you how far it is? No. I need to throw some levels in oxygen, because it is a real problem.
Yes, exactly. It's like... When someone insults you, you want to just beat the shit out of them sometimes, but you don't.
Well, not quite what I was thinking, but that's actually a great example, Marcus. The man in the story was cruel. But you know why he was cruel? You must feel...
I don't know what's going on there.
Understand, please.
Oh, they have an embassy here.
Never forget.
Can I help you?
Down with the FC.
You got a problem with the FC?
What's my problem with them? Really? I'm keeping the FC accountable for the terrible things they've done. The Colony War was an unforgivable tragedy. Countless lives could have been spared, but the Freestar Collective was out for blood. The Freestar Collective took my father away from me.
Your grief is blinding you to reality. That's not what happened.
Oh, please. Grief has nothing to do with it. Facts are facts. And the fact of the matter is that my dad would be alive if the FC never broke the Treaty of Narian.
Why would I ask her what she thinks should happen to the embassy? I don't care.
Uh-huh.
She can protest all she wants. It's within her rights.
I cannot help but notice that the Colony War Memorial is in direct line of sight of this embassy. I suspect that was very much intentional.
Yeah, you mean both.
You are a visitor? You'll find the ambassador in her office. Go on through.
Thank you. Get in the lift. Or don't.
Visitors are only allowed in the lobby, offices, or conference
Yeah,
room.
I don't care.
I wonder how many times one side or the other has threatened to close this embassy down over the years.
We got some freestyle music.
All that security and they still can't protect their own spaceport. The UC never fails to disappoint. I just wish I hadn't received the news from an SSNN broadcast. We have a strategic advantage to maintain, Mr. Long.
Of course, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Excuse me. Are you supposed to be in here?
I am.
Guests can make themselves comfortable.
I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment?
I'm not. I am part of the Vanguard, but I'm also a Ranger. Can I not tell about the Ranger? You seem like a lady who wants to stop more Terramorph attacks. Well, have I got a deal for you?
What are you? Ah, you're the one McIntyre called about. The eyewitness. She said you were at the spaceport. You have my thanks for what you did down there, truly. Saved many lives. Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe it was just a bad connection, that now the UC wants Terramorph data from the Armistice archives, some of the most highly guarded information in the galaxy, in order to protect us all.
It's pretty true.
I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to futilely beg on their behalf. Tell me I've got that right.
You need to help us. Otherwise, any more deaths are on your hands.
Excuse me. A less level-headed person might think that was a threat, Captain.
We are merely stating the obvious. If you are threatened by that, perhaps you should do something about it. Like, help us.
And just give the UC free run of the archives? I may as well resign right now.
I'm sure I can arrange
Let
that.
me be frank, Captain. The answer is no. That information is there because it is dangerous. I will not be the one responsible for its release. Now, why don't you quit wasting my time and yours, and go?
Please, Ambassador, just listen to what I have to say.
You're really gonna push this?
Yep.
All right, I will give you one chance. One to convince me. Understood.
Thank you, Ambassador. Just hear me out.
I'm listening.
Wow, we need quite a few of these. We do have an auto-persuade, though. The Xenomorph Xenoweapons project was a failure. That knowledge isn't dangerous.
You know that for sure? That is interesting.
I'm a 3-star ranger. I know right from wrong when I see it. And the UC is trying to do right here.
A ranger serving the cause of the colonies. You must really believe in this little endeavor. Well, Captain, you make some good points.
I'm glad we got to do the ranger
But
thing.
if I'm really granting you access, I'm gonna need the following concessions. Your access will be limited. You can only take out the items related to stopping these terramorphs. The monitors will make sure of it. You go in once, you get everything you need on your trip, and never again. And all research done with the data will be monitored. If this data is being used to save the galaxy needs to be involved in the oversight.
I agree.
Freestar scientists will watch your people like hawks. So, do we have an agreement?
Absolutely. All of that seems fair.
Excellent. Follow me.
Wait, hold on. Did that work? Did that really work?
They tell me it should only take a moment. And there.
I don't know what just happened.
Here, it's not supposed to be a long process. It is for emergencies, after all.
Thank you, Ambassador. That was... oddly smooth. Doesn't hurt to have a backup plan though, right? Interesting. I guess that'll work. I didn't realize that was only a 3. I think that'll do. God damn it. I haven't got a 1. Right, well, let's undo that one. I don't have... that'd still be the same, wouldn't it? Yeah. Annoying. That might work. That got me in. It's that and then one of the other 2s, isn't it? That's Doesn't do that one though. Oh, for God's sake. Well, that would do that. That would do that. I think I've done this wrong. Because that doesn't do that, does it? No. Well, that does that. I don't think I need to do this. But I've obviously done it wrong, and I'm not going to give up now. We still have quite a lot of wands. That has to be that one. Or potentially. Oh, I can't remember. Was it? I think it was. Yeah, it was that. Right. Okay. So what have we got on this one? We still have wands. This is a much easier one, I think. So it would be that, and then probably that.
I hope you can succeed at that before we are discovered.
I think we're good. I only wanted to open it just in case I needed to come down here again. I guess I'm not stealing them digipics, because it isn't worth the hassle. Oh, what's this? I've seen this before on doors. That can't be here just as a random monument. That must connect to the Starborn somehow. Well, I guess we're going to House Varun next, and that's where I need you to come and play ball.